Everyone has unique advice that they can give to other people. And when you think about it, it comes down to the fact that we all have unique experiences and skill sets that make us us. And so in this video, I'm gonna break down why it's important to productize ourselves and then transition to talk about how to productize yourself in 3 simple steps to scale your impact as well as your income. As usual, check out these timestamps to help you navigate through this video. But without further ado, let's jump into it. The first thing we need to understand is why is it important to productize ourselves? The reason why is because time is the great equalizer for everybody. Therefore, when we productize ourselves, we're able to scale ourselves as well. We no longer have that variable of time being a major component as to whether or not we're able to present our offer and create a sale opportunity for ourselves. By productizing ourselves, we remove the need to have to invest time every single instance that we want to present our offer and sell something. In other words, we can create something once and sell it twice. If you follow the public markets, this is why cloud SaaS companies have been doing so well since 2015. They're able to build a super powerful platform and then sell it to every single Fortune 500 company, with it costing them a marginal difference for every successive company that they bring onto their platform. In other words, they're able to achieve super high margins while also having recurring revenue coming in every single year as they sell more and more usage of their online platform. So if we think about this in a smaller sense in the context of us as a consultant, a coach, or a freelancer, we realize that productizing ourselves is the difference of introducing leverage into our business. By doing so, we're no longer going to be confined by the number of hours we have in a day, a week, or a year to work on our ideas. Okay, so now that we understand why productizing is important, we need to better understand how we can productize ourselves. To begin productizing ourselves, it really boils down to 3 simple steps. The first step is to figure out what we're good at. And then the next step is to figure out what other people want or need. And then the third step is to create a product that helps people get those outcomes. We all have things that we're good at. Maybe we're good at creating to-do lists, for example, or building recipes from ingredients that you can get at Costco, or creating custom fitness plans so that whenever you're doing an 8-week fitness program, you don't get bored. Whatever it is, you can productize a skill or service you have if you approach it from the right lens. So let's break down the 3 steps I outlined step by step. Before we do so though, if you're finding this video helpful so far, do me a favor and hit that like button below. By doing so, you'll help YouTube show this to more people that are interested on this topic. Also, if you're new here, I'd love if you consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. By doing so, you'll learn something new in sales, digital marketing, and entrepreneurship every single week. Now that we know the why and the how, let's dig into these 3 steps. The first step, like I mentioned, is to identify what we are good at. To do so, this is going to require a level of self-reflection from yourself. So here are some questions to consider when you think about what you're good at. You should try to answer questions like, what are 3 things I'm good at? Or if I were to ask my friends and family what I'm good at, what would they say? Or if I were to think about what my manager at work thinks I'm good at, what would he or she say? Or I could think about what's a problem that I've had to solve for myself recently and how did I go about solving that problem? When you do this, you're gonna come up with a laundry list of ideas of potential skills or services that you're good at. And the important thing for you to then do is to start to bucket these into major themes. Maybe those themes will be related to personal relationships, fitness and health, and professional pursuits. The important thing here is to really highlight your strengths. Also, don't be afraid to think outside the box. There are certain skills you might have that you might not necessarily think are skills, but actually are. For example, I have a knack for selling things on Facebook Marketplace really effectively. If you haven't seen my videos on that, be sure to do so. So I might list this skill as something that I am naturally good at. The things you list don't have to necessarily be related to things that you only are taught in school. These out-of-the-box ideas are typically going to be more related to soft skills or real-life skills that you might have. The second step to productizing yourself is to figure out what other people want or need. Once you've laundry listed your strengths, you should rank order your different ideas. From here, you're gonna have 2 to 3 ideas that are gonna be particularly unique for you. When you really focus in on these skills, you're gonna wanna think about what makes these skills super valuable or what other people really want in terms of outcomes from these sorts of skills. For example, let's say that you're really good at building Square websites. Well, from this, you might also notice that from the global situation, coffee shops are really looking for new ways to reach the customers that used to visit their shops every single day. From here, there's probably an opportunity for you to provide some sort of productized service or skill related to building websites for coffee shop owners. Or taking my earlier example of being really good at coming up with recipes, you might figure out that there are a lot of families that are always trying to think about ways to mix up the different ingredients that they are buying at Costco. So if you were to package some sort of offering related to different recipe ideas from Costco under a certain budget, that would probably be something that families would love to check out. There are two really easy ways to figure out what people really want. The first one is to ask your target ideal customer profile. And the second one is to do keyword research in the sub-communities of where these people like to hang out. For example, you can check out the Reddit, Quora, and Twitter communities for these different sub-communities to try to figure out the sort of language that people use and the questions that they are always asking about. If you need extra help on that, be sure to check out my SEO keyword research videos on my channel. Before we head into step number 3, I want to hear from you. What's a skill or service of yours that you think others would find valuable? The third step to productizing a skill or service is to create a product that helps your ideal customer get the outcomes that they want. Now that we've found the intersection of something that we're good at and something that we know people want and are willing to pay money for, we can start to think about how to position and package a product that would help them achieve those outcomes. If we were to think about that coffee shop website example, there are a few different directions we could take. For example, we could create a set of templates of Square websites that coffee shop owners would be able to plug and chug for their own coffee shop to maybe help them launch a monthly subscription service for their coffee shop. Doing so would help these coffee shop owners introduce a new revenue stream with an online store, while also keeping in touch with those customers that they may not have seen due to the global situation. Or another direction we could take is we could create a DIY course of how to create a website for your coffee shop. In this example, we'd only have to build a coffee shop website once and then record the entire process from start to finish. Then we could sell this as a step-by-step guide for creating a coffee shop website with this Look Over My Shoulder series. To market this sort of product, we could cut up certain sections from this Look Over My Shoulder video series and post those on YouTube to get some organic traffic to our course landing page. Taking another example, we might want to pursue that meal prep idea. In that situation, we're already in luck because somebody already created this product and validated it. $5dinner.com has a product called 20 Meals at Costco for $150 that they've been selling since 2014. In other words, they've been able to sell this multiple times over the last 5 years, having only invested one time to make this product. When we dig more into $5dinners.com, we'll notice that the creator has positioned herself as the place to go for affordable meal prep ideas for people that are low on time. This is a great idea because I'm sure if I were part of her target market of parents with limited time thinking about different ways to mix things up with the recipe book, that this could be a great way to do so for under $10 for every single recipe pack. The important thing to note here is that rather than position herself as a coach that teaches meal prep, she creates products that help her target market get closer to their desired outcomes. In this situation, the desired outcome is saving time in finding recipes that work in stores that we already shop at, while also keeping things interesting for the family. When you're creating your offer, the important thing to ask yourself is whether or not you are building something that you are going to be able to build once and sell twice. You're going to want to be really careful here in introducing things that involve human capital. Ultimately, we're building products here and we're not building packaged services. There's a really important distinction that I think some service creators confuse when they're thinking about productizing themselves. There are two big takeaways from today's video. The first one is that anyone can productize themselves. Whether it's creating a YouTube video sharing something that you already know with other people, or a PDF guide that teaches step-by-step how to accomplish a certain task, there is something that you are good at that you can productize. The second thing to keep in mind is that you need to start and end with something that you are good at. It's really important that you stay within your circle of competence. Don't create a product just because you think you're gonna make a lot of money with it. That's going to show. Instead, focus on things that you know that you are within the top 10% or top 1% at, and teach people how to accomplish those sorts of things. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, what's a skill or a service that you think you could productize? I read every single comment and I try to respond to each one. Also, if you found this video helpful, I greatly appreciate when you hit that like button below. By doing so, you tell YouTube to show this to more people that are interested on this topic. Lastly, subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. You've already made it so far into this video that you clearly like this sort of content, and by doing so, you'll get new content on sales digital marketing and entrepreneurship every single week. If you liked today's video, be sure to check out my next one. I plan to do a deep dive of my own YouTube channel to come up with 7 different product ideas of things I could productize to hopefully help get the ball rolling for you as you brainstorm your ideas. In the meantime though, check out these videos that YouTube thinks you might like.